Hey guys, it's Rhysicus here, coming at you with a ball-bouncingly exciting episode of the Angry Welsh Railworks tutorial. In this episode I'm going to show you how to use the asset block tool. So load up your Railworks, load up your route editor and go into the static object section, click on the little tree and it brings up an asset block. Now it brings up a decal which you can click, and when you double click things will appear. Now as you can see, benches have appeared. So why have benches appeared? Well, I will explain. Because when you bring up the pop-up menu on the right, you can select what object will be selected in the asset block tool. So this one says bench metal red. So you can change this to any object that you want. So as you can see, it's just pretty much putting every object that you have in game on it. Now why it's loaded up objects such as this, I'll never know. But hey, this is Railworks after all, you shouldn't really be surprised, it does stupid stuff all the time. So if you wanted bushes, you can make an asset block full of bushes. And they do look reasonably tidy, but you do have to adjust it using this little tool. You can sort of adjust how many bushes are where. Now the good thing about this is that if you do adjust the scenery, when you start moving it round, it will adjust automatically. So as you can see, I raised some of the terrain. In fact, let's make it a bit more obvious. Let's call that 50. So say we got a bit of a mountain thing going here, and then you go back to your item, you move it, it will then move over and stick to the terrain, which is nice. But the problem you can sometimes get is that bushes will float, so you've got to be careful where you put them. And usually, you know, from a distance it doesn't look too bad, but you sort of got to move it around so that it looks reasonably realistic. And you can even, you know, adjust the terrain afterwards. You could use the smooth tool and sort of adjust it again, just to make it look okay. So let's go back to the actual editor. So there's a couple of tools that you need to know about. One is the size. Now you can either adjust the size by using the little yellow arrows, but this will give you a maximum size of, I think, something like 500 by 500, which isn't that big. Or is it 1000? I can't remember. But if you double click and just put like 5000 by 5000, then lots of isms happen. And as you can see, it's loaded up so much stuff that my computer can't actually handle the amount of scenery in shot. That's what you got to be careful of. So let's put it back to 500 by 500 if I can. So there we are, that's better. 500 by 500. So you can pretty much load it to any quantity that you desire. As you can see, there are quite a lot of bushes, but you can change the density of the bushes. And what I mean by density is the amount. So at the moment it's this little thing here that says 10,000. So if I put 1,000, there's not many. So the density of the asset block has reduced significantly. So let's call it 5,000. It's about half of what it was. So you have to sort of play around with it and decide what sort of quantity that you want. So we don't have to have bushes, we can have little trees, so you can make a forest. And if you are making a forest, you can sort of put it over mountains and stuff. And it looks, you know, reasonably realistic because each tree will join to the ground. But as I said, you have to think about the quantity of trees that you have. Because if you just have a million trees scattered around, it won't look that realistic. So you need to do stuff like this with your route. The other thing, well no, I think that is all I need to show you in terms of this. As I said before, with other things, you can just turn it around using the little blue icon, back and forth with the green and red ones, or you can just click and drag. It's a very easy tool to use, and you can pretty much make an asset block with any kind of object that you want. Like there's clocks there. Why you need clocks, coal bunkers, containers. A million containers appeared out of nowhere. What if they got the pannier object? Let me see, because the pannier tank should be loaded up somewhere. The static object pannier that I made for Bill and Ted. RSC Falmouth branch. FAL. I need to go to F. This isn't part of the tutorial, this is just me dicking around. Oh, that sucks. Falmouth pannier is not there. What if it'd be under P? No, it's not. Well, that sucks. Shrubs. So yeah, you just have to have a little play around, decide what sort of scenery that you want in a particular area, and you can sort of have a forest, and then you can double click, copy and paste, put another one next to it. If you wanted, I don't know, a different type of tree, and you could even overlap them a little bit, though you have to be careful about the density if you overlap things, because if you overlap and they just, sometimes they won't go with each other, but these go alright. So you got different types of trees in the same area, and you could even put another one and then make this one ash, a different type of tree, so you've got a bit of a forest going on already, and this makes making forests easier, because forests can be a bit tricky sometimes. And that looks reasonably good. And the last thing you want to do with big forests is just have, I don't know, let's choose a different type of tree, ash, and then put it right up to like 100,000 density, because that just looks terrible. It means there's an absolute shed ton of trees in that small area. So let's take one of them zeros off. It's a little bit better, but it's still quite thick. So let's call it 9. That's actually worse. That's better. 8. So as you can see, each time it's getting thinner and thinner, which is good. So yeah, I'm Rhysicus, and that was using the asset block. I hope you've learned a few things for your route editing. Thanks for watching.